What is this show? Cucked in his original life, now he's gonna cuck him right back. Yo! I was cucked in my original life, so now I'm gonna do the cucking. What the At this point, I'm just gonna say what we've all been thinking. This is the greatest isekai ever. Of all time. The entirety of this episode can be summed down to as the household that Liam runs is disappointed that he doesn't already have a mass amount of women. That it's expected that he would have a harem. And you think, okay, well, he'll pull off a Rentaro from 100 Girlfriends. He's gonna be like, I'm an evil lord, I deserve 100. 10 would satisfy me, but 100 is a grand ambition. They look at him and say, that is pathetic, you worthless disgrace. You should be going for 10,000. 1,000 at the minimum. And that scares our boy for obvious reasons, and he's like, listen, I want quality over quantity, and I respect that because more women does not actually equal better, just equals more headaches. Let's be 100%. But this man says some of the most outlandish shit you can imagine. He looks at them, dead serious, and is like, listen, I was cucked in my last life. Now I'm gonna do the cucking. Excuse me? This man, in very comedic fashion, and what you see in these shows, I'm gonna be evil or I'm gonna be the douchebag, and then actually they're not. They're doing actually pretty well. His society is flourishing. Their fashion sense is ass. I do agree with that. Their idea of fashion is a nose ring that makes a bubble. And their swimsuits, not as bad. He was very upset with them. The designs were a little questionable, but honestly, the skin tight actually kind of works if you ask me. They have to work on that. But in general, progress is being made. They're advancing society, people are looking happy, and I love how early in the episode he's talking about how, like, I'm an evil lord, my goal is money, women, and to rule with an iron fist, basically. And it's funny because all the things that he's doing for this society, at face value, is like, this is what I want to do, I'm going to do everything, but he doesn't realize he's, like, benefiting everyone. Now, it's great for them, because what's good for him is seemingly good for them. But yeah, that's just... The funniest thing is this is such a self-aware episode and show because there's so many things that would normally get called out in a show like this. Like, you know, the character would, like, not act like it's weird. Like, hey, all these people who work for me, I'm going to make them a part of my harem, and we're not going to, you know, talk about the power imbalance and how they can't say no. They would just, like, go the route of, like, no, we swear they just legitimately fell in love and they're not being forced. This show says, no, we're going to beat you over the head. They knew what they signed up for. When they signed the contract to work here, it was under their belief they may be chosen for the harem. And in fact, they would love it, because it'd go up in status. And I'm like, this show is just taking the piss. Like, they are absolutely going bonkers with the idea of this show. And the idea that his whole goal this episode, like, last episode had some of the most serious and intense shit known to man. Disgusting, disturbing, shocking, and horror. And then they had a pretty fun second half. This show did it differently. 90% of it was just comedy gold. This man, I am so happy he has that reality hammer smack him in the face. So, his grand idea on top of the harem is, okay, I want a swimming pool filled with alcohol. But it didn't end there. He also wants meat hanging above. And they have to look at this kid and be like, okay, the alcohol could cause an explosion. And then he's like, don't worry, I purify it. If you purify it, it's just water. Also, are you having cooked meat? Raw meat? Everything about this just made no sense. And I love how frustrated he was because this kid's like, damn this android and damn my butler. But then they're like, but yeah, you can have a harem. We just don't want you to blow up the bathhouse, and we don't want you to give diseases to the maid. He's like, I can have a harem? I'm telling you, this was the funniest freaking episode of the show to date, and maybe the funniest episode I've seen all season. I can't believe what they accomplished with the overall humor. And you already know the first official member of the harem outside of the robot, which, you know, he says is more than enough, and then it's like, yeah, but I can't give you babies, and I say that's literally the best part. But they're all worried about the bloodline. We know the girl we ended up saving, who confirmed in this episode that she was like that monstrous form for decades. I thought maybe a couple of years. I didn't realize it was decades she was like that. And I love how shocked she is. She's like, why would someone waste the... Like, she basically got treated probably for billions of dollars worth of medical if she was in the United States. And Liam's just like, pay me back. And boy golly, will she pay him back in any way he asks. But she's legitimately gonna be the first human member of the harem for sure. In an episode where your MC says, I was cucked and now I'm doing the cucking, you would think there's no way that it gets better than that line. Yet, a majority of the episode was just that. And I love how there's so many thoughts and comments I've had and made. Like, my boy, as soon as this episode starts, he's like, I need women. He's been having that woman fall all over him. Now, granted, is she trying to use him for his money? Yeah, but he's an evil lord. It's fine. And they even call that out, like, bro, we thought maybe you just swung the other way, or maybe you just weren't interested in that yet, because she's always all over you. I forget what they call next episode, but they're mass-producing maid robots. This man's gonna end up with a harem of probably 100 robots and, like, one real woman. Like, I started this show with the bare minimum expectations. And somehow I'm looking at this show as, man, this show is actually entertaining me more than Eminence and Shadow. And if you followed my videos on Shadow, you know. I don't say that as an insult, like, oh, it's an overhyped... Oh, no, Eminence and Shadow is amazing. It deserves all the praise and more that it gets. But I think I'm legitimately liking this show more. If they gave me 10 seasons, I would... World peace would be achieved, is all I'm saying. I don't even know what to say. Liam is the greatest, dumbest kid of all time. And that dog spirit, his former dog, who's been looking after him this whole show, deserves all the bones and steaks it can get in Spiritland, because the amount of shit he must be doing to keep all the bullshit from catching up to him is next level. Just, you let me know your thoughts. Favorite moment, I think you definitely know mine. The cucking was, chef's kiss, brilliant stupidity, but, them calling out the whole bath and meat hanging thing, very, very close second. Thoughts down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, ring that bell. We also have the Patreon where we got those full live reactions over there exclusively. And hey, while you're over there, I'll just give you a video shout out. So today we got Sleepfish, Wayne Delquist, Marco-san, Huron12, and we also have Sean Cafferkey. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Y'all have a good one.